Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTube messiah, often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious, and we are talking about Raw. It is the Go Home Raw. I always stress this. It's starting to feel like it's a regular cliche thing here on the show. Two most important Raws of the month, hands down, always. The Go Home show and the Fallout show to a pay-per-view. This is the Go Home Raw for Payback. It was in Cincinnati. Have a couple friends that are have one or two friends that are in Cincinnati. You know, they weren't able to make it tonight, but they did say they were going to Money in the Bank, so hoping that, show's good for you there. But man, was this crowd amazing. I absolutely love this crowd. They weren't like biased, like a babyface town or a heel town. No, this was just straight up good, a good town with good crowd reactions. They were just cheering non-stop for what they liked and what they didn't. And it wasn't like the normal cheap kind of WWE pops like, yeah, this is cool. No, it was like, okay, yeah, we like this, and you're giving us this, and we're going to show you that we like it. Kind of cheers. If that makes sense at all. But either way, Raw starts out with Hunter coming down the ring, and very first two words out of his mouth, Daddy's home. Which case, I couldn't help but laugh because, man, as a running joke, no lie, I broke my ankle the summer right before my son was born. And I was still competing at that time. I broke my ankle. I was out for that entire summer because I broke my ankle. Wasn't from wrestling, believe it or not, it was from landscaping, but that's a story for another time. Go and do that. Next thing you know, I get back, I get rehabbed it, got back. Next thing you know, very first two words I said when I stepped back in the locker room. Oh yes, Daddy's home. That was just basically it. That's why that Hunter's opening statement right there had a funny moment to me, and I couldn't help but laugh on that part. But yeah. So he goes on. He talks about he was away doing business. He had to step up. He had to step away from a bit to go and handle business, take care of things, and when he comes back, he sees that everyone's acting like kids. When they're gone, all acting up. They come back, Daddy's back, and next thing you know, everyone's all of a sudden behaved. So he calls out Seth and Kane, basically tells them, all right, listen, you two are going to settle your differences. Personally, I was expecting him to say, you two are going to settle your differences, and we're going to settle it the one way that, we're going to settle this the old-fashioned way. You are going to fight him, and neither of you are going to stop until you guys settle your problem. And I was expecting that. I was completely wrong, because instead, what we got is Hunter going at Kane saying, known you a long time, we go back a long way, hint towards Katie Vick. And then saying, if Seth doesn't win, this just paraphrasing right here, Seth doesn't win, we're probably not going to need your services. In which case, it looks like they're hinting towards Kane getting a face turn. In which case, I'm not 100% sure on how I feel about Kane with a face turn. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the whole face run he had with Team Hell No. But my thing is, how are you going to have Kane be a face while also still trying to play a monster? The only way you could really picture that is if you wind up having not even Attitude Era kind of violence and towards with Kane, but more maybe ruthless aggression kind, just having him go and don't have him speak a whole lot, Instead, have his actions do the speaking for him. Like, you know, somebody go and start talking crap on him. Next, you know, just wham, you know, grabbing him and then just like choke slamming him through like a sheetrock wall, making it look like Kane is like this giant, mean, evil monster and can slam people through shit. Things like that. You know, but I digress, so moving on. And yes, for the new viewers out there, I do tend to talk with my hands a lot. Please work with it. Moving forward though, wind up saying, Kane, you're going to face Roman. Seth, you're going to face Randy. And then Jamie Noble stepped in and oh dear God. Again, nothing against Joey Mercury, but Jamie Noble you cannot help but laugh at because of, especially because of the whole Authority secret weapon thing. Seriously, who would think he is their secret weapon? So Noble, he starts running his mouth saying, no offense, Hunter, but Seth's been out here fighting day in and day out while you've been out there doing whatever. And then Hunter gets up to him and is like, well, hold on, let me get down to your height. Well, how about this? Seeing as on how you and your buddy want to go and start doing this, why don't we have a handicap match with you two versus Dean Ambrose, and that match is right now. And then after that they went to commercial. Fast forward to the end of the commercial. Hometown Boy comes out. Dean Ambrose comes out. Huge pop for him, you know. Yeah, huge pop. Good hometown vibe. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this was actually the first TV taping with Ambrose on the main roster. You know, could be wrong. I know I've been known to be plenty of times. If I am, by all means, feel free to leave a comment down below. If not, okay. Moving along though, first match of the night, Ambrose and J&J Security in a handicap match. Now, handicap matches are always kind of hard because really, unless if you're the guy with the handicap, it's kind of hard to just claim a clean victory unless you're going to making the other two look like goofs. And well, thank God it's J&J Security because they already are kind of they're already kind of built to look like them. You know, it's like the modern day Briscoe and Patterson as the Stooges. So, not really that much of an issue with that then. But yeah, it was pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty okay with it. You know, it was good and solid. You know, match came to an end. Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on Noble. Now I know a lot of as much as I was just cracking up about with Jamie Noble, you know, would also like to see more time with Joey Mercury. You know, let Joey start getting some extra mic time. Let Joey start being able to have more of a mouthpiece and be able to have more of it being noticed and having some action with it. You know, whether or not they're choosing not to do that because of his history with, you know, Straight Edge Society, Eminem and all that, who knows? That's my speculation on why they're not though. You know, next match up, they fast forward next match, Ziggler versus Barrett with Sheamus on commentary. And well, I'm pretty sure if there were any fangirls whose ovaries didn't explode when they saw Ambrose, pretty sure that they did the second they saw Ziggler, Barrett, and Sheamus all on their TV at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, as Barrett came down, you know, he started talking about on how on Sunday at Payback he's going to be going against Neville, which fully on board for. Neville good young talent. This is a chance for him to build, grow, be able to chance to, make a mark, work with the veterans on the roster to be able to help make them look good and have them help emulate him to make him say, hey, look, whether I beat that guy or not, the fact is I went toe-to-toe with him, and he's one of the hardest dudes on the roster. So what do you got? That's my thing. That's the big thing. You always want to have the new talent be able to have that kind of a feel and a vibe, But, yeah, Sheamus, he was basically talking about Ziggler, he doesn't really deserve his rematch, and in a weird sense, I see where Sheamus's argument is, but not saying it's right or wrong, just saying, see his point. But either way, match wound up coming to an end. Barrett wound up hitting a bullhammer on Ziggler and then got the 1-2-3. And then, Sheamus, he came in, beat up Ziggler, and not gonna lie, Sheamus actually looks pretty good with the mohawk down. Instead of putting in like the 5 pounds of hair glue, and then just spiking it, to come out with it just straight back like that, like the old barbarian kind of style, like the old barbarian Viking hairstyle, like that. That would work better, So yeah, next matchup, Eric Rowan versus Fandango Hopper. And man, was this cool to see, because absolutely loved Eric Rowan. Was really worried on him being the one that got left out when the Wyatt family broke up. He was starting to get that way. They brought him back in with Harper, and oh God, yes! Yes, this is what we need. We got a really big, heavy, mean, scary, strong tag team now. We've got another team to put in the tag team division. Yes, this is exactly what we fucking needed. But yeah, Rowan, he comes out. Fandango, right off bat, starts trying to capitalize on him. It was a quick, short, like 30-something second match. Either way, Rowan wound up getting the win. Had him in a full Nelson, got him with a full Nelson slam, that full Nelson slam of his, and then proceeded to pin 1, 2, 3. After that, they left it at that. So moving forward with the next match now, Cena with his U.S. Open Challenge. Cena, of course, as per the U.S. Open Challenge tradition at this point, cutting a promo, talking about what the title means to him, as well as his match coming up with Rusev. So, doing that normal spiel. Absolutely no problem with that. Not the biggest Cena fan out there. As if you couldn't tell if you've seen some of the stuff I've put out there on Twitter at Tim Vicious. But the fact is, he is exactly what was needed for the U.S. title, because now the U.S. title is getting the credibility it deserves, being put on the line week in and week out. Doesn't have to change hands, but the fact is that the title is being put out there, and that different talent is stepping up to go and try and compete for it. Whether you know that they're not going to win, but the fact is that the talent is going to make their mark by actually competing and making it look as if they can win. Because if they can have you sit there thinking, oh wow, hey, we may actually get a chance here, he may actually win, that's on how they get you. But yeah, so Cena's opponent for tonight was Adrian Neville, and wow, was I so impressed with this. And for all you Smarky McSmarkertons out there that right off bat automatically thought, oh well, he's gonna lose to Cena, so now he's gonna get buried. No. Fuck you. Seriously? Dude, no. Like I said, he doesn't have to beat him. best case in point on that, Sami Zayn last week. With Sami fucking Zayn, you know? He knew he wasn't going to win, especially given that he had a match coming up with Kevin Owens. You know, but the fact is, getting out there, putting on the show, having the crowd be behind you for it the whole time, that's on how you're doing it. You know, you put on a good show, you have the crowd get behind you, you have them cheering for you, wanting you to win, and thinking, oh wow, hey, maybe he's gonna win. That's on how they get you. That's on how you get them. You know? But yeah, this was a great match. Absolutely loved it. It was kind of fun seeing the two different styles clashing with each other, because, you know, Neville, very high flying, very high flying oriented. Cena's a very ground based guy. You know, it's good seeing those two styles going against each other, because it was like it was actually for a moment seeing water and oil actually go together. And, you know, match wound up coming to an end though. Neville wound up hitting a red arrow, and just as he clamped the legs for the pin, 1, 2, Rusev comes in, steps on Neville, picks him up, tosses him out, so the ref calls the match. And then he proceeds to put the accolade on Cena. And yeah. So, next matchup we got is Kane versus Roman Reigns. And this one was actually, not even really technically a match, because Kane, he came down, he got his intro. Roman barely got a chance to hop over the fence. The second his feet didn't even touch the ground yet before he hopped over the fence. Kane, that infamous uppercut of his, you know, hit that on Roman, and then they just proceeded to go and throw out a good old-fashioned ass whooping to each other. Ended when that ass whooping wound up coming to an end when, after Kane popped off the top of the announcer's table, looked like he was going to go and knock Roman through it. Roman got his second win, wound up and actually speared Kane over the table, which, alright, that was pretty cool. And then you just see Roman doing that. You know, it's showing some old traits from Shield days. I haven't really seen him doing that a whole lot since they broke up, so kind of cool to see, you know? Next matchup, women's match, Brie versus Tamina. And yes, first thought was, oh dear God, we're being attacked by the Brie bots again, because now they're playing that Brie mode song. And yes, I still stand by the question of, is Brie mode anything equivalent to Montezuma's Revenge? Seriously, I'm just wondering, because I'm asking for a friend. If by friend I mean myself. But yeah, moving forward, now that I'm done acting like an ass, at least for that small little introduction, then comes Tamina. She's coming out with Naomi to her music, and just no, ew. You know, not a big fan of how Naomi's new heel character is, because honestly, I've seen classier broads working in you know, in those health spas that do like 20 minutes for $20. You know, where they yeah. I won't go into detail on that because there are some children that watch. And yeah, there are still hordes of moms outside the Vicious Studios that protest against this. And I'm pretty sure the Moms Against WWE account would be against my show as well. You know? But yeah, moving forward. Tamina, she's coming back from a torn ACL, and oh my God, did she come... She is hitting hard. That girl wound up doing good. I was impressed, because honestly, you'd have never really thought she left, because she's just as big and built and just as aggressive. You know, she dominated a majority of that match. Brie had a small little moment where she started to pick up steam, you know, started doing that and started doing her normal signature, running off the rope and knee to the face. Did it once, went back to it twice. Tamina caught the knee, threw her back, stood up, super kick right to the mush, and then got the 1, 2, 3. Probably not having her do the Superfly, you know, because they don't want to, you know, probably because with her daddy or because that's just on how they booked that finish. Either way, it was cool seeing her with that. Still cool seeing her come out with that, and, you know, here's the hoping that she'll wind up getting a decent run before she has to hang the boots up for good. Next matchup we have, well, I don't even know if technically you can call this a match or what, but wow, this was definitely something. Funniest moment of the night, hands down. And even funnier than when Hunter wound up going over to Jamie Nolan and was like, so that way he could get down to his height. Axelmania going up against the Macho Mandow. Damien Sandow doing the Randy Savage, and wow! Dude, Sandow looked like a skinny Randy Savage. He had it down to a T. Oh my god! This was so freaking beautiful. Being a huge Randy Savage mark, I mean, two of my all-time favorites. Randy Savage and Jake Roberts. Wow, seeing him come out just like Randy. The only thing that would have made it better was if instead of the green trunks, he'd have came out wearing the pink with the yellow boots. That would have made it, that would have sold it all together. You know? Came out, he was fighting just like Randy. Got him up, slam! Next thing you know, pointed to the corner, just as he's about to get up for the elbow, wham! Hit the music, and we get the Ascension cutting a promo talking about on how Axel and Sandow are acting like two old relics to try and jumpstart their career, and this is now the time of the Ascension. And then they proceed to run into the ring to go and cause a little mischief. Or so we thought. Sandow wound up tossing out Connor, wound up working on Victor for a minute, and then looked at Axel and was like, "Oh, yeah." So Axel wound up hitting a Hogan leg drop on him, and then they proceed. Oh my god, the 5-year-old Mark in me completely lost his mind because they just stood there in the ring doing the reenactment of the Mega Powers with Sandow holding the hand like that for the handshake. Oh my god, dude, that was freaking nuts. So yeah, they announced also for the kickoff show on Sunday, it's gonna be them two. It's gonna be Sandow and Axel versus the Ascension, and honestly, I can't really say on who to think on who I want or who I think should win, because the Ascension were a dominant tag team in NXT, and they deserve to get the gold at some point in time, you know, on the main roster. But at the same time, also pushing for Axel to get a good push, and also have been screaming to the high heavens that Sandow deserves to get moved higher up in the ranks. You know? But yeah, next matchup after that, Big E versus Cesaro, and before they come out, they talk about, as the New Day's coming out, they're talking about Daniel Bryan when he was on the mic right before that. Bryan, well, we don't talk about promos normally on this show unless it matters, and this one it does matter. Bryan came out talking about on how he got injured. He's been seeing docs, and the docs say they're not sure on when he'll be back in the ring. Could be days, weeks, months, whatever. And he sadly had to relinquish the IC title. So, while Vacant is now the new Intercontinental Champion, unfortunately we lost quite possibly who could have been one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions. You know, I feel bad for Bryan on this because honestly, the guy deserves it because beautiful, phenomenal wrestler. If you don't believe me, and if you just are going off of the matches he's seen on WWE, after you're done watching this show, go on YouTube. Look for Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness in Ring of Honor. You know, look up those matches. Look up Bryan Danielson versus Tyler Black. You know, those, or even yet, Bryan Danielson versus Kenta. You know, those three names, you know, those matches alone could, those are probably some of the best matches that anyone would ever see. Hands down. You know, but I digress again. It's sad because Bryan, the guy deserves it. You know, fought long and hard, broke the mold, showed that, you know, you don't have to be 6'6", 250 and built like frickin' Schwarzenegger, you know, to be a top guy. And just as he's starting to get that momentum and running strong, winds up, you know, getting sidelined. It's sad. It really is. It's sad, and honestly, I really hope for the best that he does come back at some point. And I'm not speaking as a Daniel Bryan fan. I'm speaking as, you know, a fan of, you know, a good wrestler. That's what I mean, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, but New Day comes out. They're talking about, don't think about the negativity about with Daniel Bryan leaving. Think about the positivity of what New Day here. So, Cincy, you're a smart town. Let's see if you can do this right. New Day rocks. And the more they keep cheering that, the more they're yelling, New Day sucks. And, you know, like it's, didn't like the idea of New Day being the tag champs. But now it's good because now that they got the titles, they're cocky, they're full of themselves, and they're swearing that they're even better than they were before, and it's giving us more of a reason to hate them. So, in essence, they're doing their job. They're doing their job, and they're doing it damn well. How can I complain on that now? I can't complain on that because a heel is actually making me want to boo them. You know, fuck. So yeah, anyways, they also mentioned that they're going to have their match, that Cesaro and Kid are going to have a rematch at Payback on Sunday in a 2 out of 3 falls match. So here's to hoping that Kid and Cesaro win. The fan in me is hoping for them to win, but Brain is hoping that, you know, that New Day is seeing that New Day's going to win. You know, just so that way they can stretch out this whole... That way they could stretch out a more of a reason for us to hate them. But Big E and Cesaro, wow, this was a good powerhouse match. This is on what two big muscled guys should look like when they wrestle. Because Big E, he moves a hell of a lot lighter than a guy his size and his build should. Which, you know, wow. Cesaro, I've already mentioned it before. You know, I am a huge Cesaro fan, hands down, hands frickin' down. He is one of, if not the most underutilized talents on the roster. You know, the man should be main eventing pay-per-views. He's not. You know, but the fact remains, Cesaro, hands down, favorite guy on the roster. Absolutely love seeing him compete. And man, he did not disappoint. You know, Big E go and jump right in the air. Cesaro catches him, wham, slams him down. Uppercuts, does the uppercuts back and forth. Next thing you know, goes and calls for the swing. And So yeah, goes to call for the swing. Next thing you know, Woods goes and runs interference. Woods starts to go and run interference. Kid drops him down from the apron, climbs up, does that kick right onto from the apron to knock him down. Kofi comes over, knocks him down, and then Cesaro starts yelling at him. And then just as Big E looks like he's about to go and hit Cesaro, Cesaro winds up wrapping him up and getting a roll up on him and gets the 1, 2, 3, so they win. So that pretty much says that New Day is gonna win at the pay-per-view, since Kid and Cesaro look strong right there. You know, so coming up now, main event of the night: Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. You know, and this was, well, if you had to choose between out of all the one-on-one matches that they've had and rank them best to worst, I think this would be somewhere around in between on the middle, because it wasn't the best match that they've had, also wasn't the worst match that they had. You know, it was fairly decent, but it felt like it was what it was. A Monday Night TV main event. It didn't have that pay-per-view-esque feel like, okay, we have to give 5,000%, you know? But it was good, you know? Both guys made each other look good, which, you know, should always do, hands down, no matter what, you know? And Seth, he is playing the best heat seek. Seth, hands down, the best heat seeker that the company has at the moment. Really good, really great. Absolutely love seeing that. You know? And yeah, it's the way that Randy's now going. This is probably Randy, I'm actually starting to dig this whole face run that Randy's having right here. It's pretty impressive. You know? But match winds up coming to an end, basically. Ref throws it out, no contest. You know, J&J Security come in. So, next thing you know, they start going and attacking Randy. Next thing you know, Ambrose comes in, starts working on them. And just as it looks like the numbers are picking up on Ambrose, Reigns comes in, clears them. Kane's just standing out there the whole time with a folded up chair in his hand like, Did I forget to buy peanut butter? Did I leave the coffee pot on? Is my radio turned off? He had that look on his face, like he was thinking like, wait, what did I forget to do? Either that or he was thinking that Taco Cat, spelled backwards, still says Taco Cat. Yes, I did just go there, folks. So yeah, wound up doing that, and just wound up, and next thing you know, Ambrose picks up Seth, and wham, Dirty Deeds picks him up again. Roman spears him, and then they pick him up, and they're like, oh, Seth. And then toss him over to Randy, and Randy, wham, RKO's him. And then Roman proceeds to spear Randy, and then Dean proceeds to give Roman a Dirty Deed. So Ambrose, last man standing, on two separate TV tapings, obviously tells you he's not going to win. He's going to steal the show, but he's not going to win. You know? Which, okay, all well and good. Fact is, though, Ambrose, Rollins. Those two guys, they can have the same kind of feud that Rock and Austin had over the years. You know, bouncing back on and off on. Because they can work. You know? You look at the matches that they had in FCW, and then you look at what they had post-Shield. Tell me I'm wrong. By all means, tell me on how I'm wrong with that. You know, these two can have a rivalry, the likes of which that would be on a Rock and Austin level, to where they can go on and off at any given point in time. And it could work. Yep, but that's it for this week's show, folks. So, like on normal, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at Tim Vicious. Make sure y'all look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious. Also, do not forget to look for me on that whole Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash, also Tim Vicious on there. And do not forget to follow all of these cool ass cats right here on Twitter. Vicky Earls, make sure y'all check out Vicky's podcast, The Irish Commodity. I am Danny Sunday Mucky Morse. Axel Mulligan, make sure y'all also check out Axel's show, The SmackDown Breakdown. Sunday Segway, Sinfully Sabrina, Cranky Grandpa, Legion Lady Aaron. The two biggest douchebags this side of Twitter, Oliver Ben and Just a Stupid Mark, as well as my client, who, as I have said before, is the true Raw General Manager, Bronx Bitch Forever. And, folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me, great, you hate me. Fuck yous.